All right. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday, everybody. Get this thing moving. I think everything on my computer is moving extremely slow today, and I don't really know why. Also, uh, Microsoft Word keeps crashing on me every single time I try to copy and paste something into it, and it's never done that before. So I have no idea. I have no idea why that's happening. So if anybody is well versed in Microsoft Word for whatever reason, because it's how I write most of my scripts on there. And for whatever reason, I'm trying to copy and paste this huge section of text from one to another, and it's just not letting me do it. It keeps crashing. I have no idea why. Anyways, what's up, guys? No, it's a little bit earlier than I usually stream, but at the same time, I try to do streams at different times so that different people can join when I'm going live. Because for some reason, some of you guys like to hear me ranting and raving, and so that's probably what you'll get today. A little bit of it anyways. I probably will not stream for too terribly long, but there's a couple of different things I wanted to talk about, and I didn't really feel like they were worth making entire videos about because they would have been rather short, and also just, I don't want to fill up your subscription feed with a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? Even though that's kind of what I already do. But there's some other things that I wanted to talk about that I figured I would just do on the stream, and then you guys can join in on the conversation if you want. You can ask whatever, send in any questions, comments, concerns, any of that kind of stuff. But I'm going to talk about a few specific things, and then I'll move into whatever you guys want to talk about. I'll wait a couple seconds for some people to get in here, though. Also, I hope the winter season and holiday season is treating you well. I know sometimes it can be pretty difficult for everybody, so hopefully you guys are making it through and doing the best with what you can, just like I am. And it's always funny to see what time of day it is for different people. Because for me, it's midday right now. It's kind of like, it's around like 2 p.m. And I saw someone says, good morning, Ryan. So it's interesting. Some people are waking up. Some people are going to bed. Some people are in the middle of their day like me. I just got back from the gym. I have not even showered yet. I am gross and sweaty and stinky. But I figured, why not keep the momentum? Because sometimes I take a shower and then, I just get, the muscles relax and you're just not as fired up as you were before. So I wanted to stay fired up while I was streaming today. That's why. Also, I have a lot of shit that I need to watch. And if I wait to stream, I'm never going to get it done. I got like so many things. That's why I wonder, like, so many people, they say they get bored. And I'm just like, how do you get bored when there's so much shit out there? Like, I always feel like I never have enough time. Like, there's so many movies to watch. There's so many shows to watch. There's so many games to play. There's videos to make. There's work to be done. You got to go to the gym. You got to make time for friends and relationships and everything. Like, there's no time for anything ever. So I don't know how people get bored, man. Plus, I'm super tired all the time. It's crazy. I think that's just an effect of being in your 30s, though. I think that just happens. You're just way more tired all of the time. It's good to see you guys in here, man. Yeah. There's a couple of things that I wanted to chat about, but I didn't think it was worth making entire videos about. So I'm just gonna rant about it on this stream. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was last week during the video game awards. There was a, hey, thank you, Landon. Hey, appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you, man. Thank you. The legend. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Very generous super chat. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. As always, the legend, the man, the myth, the enigma of Landon. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, brother. So last week at the Game Awards, obviously they got the Resident Evil 9, the new trailer with Leon, and I did make a video about that because I was super stoked and super excited. But and also the Tomb Raider remake looks awesome and brought back a ton of memories of playing old school, Tomb Raider back in the day when Lara Croft had the triangular boobs. It just brought me back to childhood. She looks much better now, sort of. But I can't wait till that comes out. That looks awesome as well. But the other thing that I really wanted to chat about from that event was that they did show a very short teaser of the new live-action Street Fighter. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because a couple of weeks ago, I made a video that I've been wanting to make on this channel for a long time. If some of you remember back in the middle of summer, I made a video going over all of the live action Mortal Kombat adaptations. So the 2 movies from the 90s, the live action TV show, and the newer movie, as well as talking about what we know of Mortal Kombat 2, which was supposed to come out in October, but now they moved that to next year. So I always wanted to make like a companion video with Street Fighter and talk about all the live action Street Fighter stuff, of which there's been significantly less than Mortal Kombat. But in that video, I knew that they are making a Street Fighter movie right now and that it comes out next year. And I specifically said in the video, I bet when I drop this video, we are going to get a trailer for Street Fighter the next week. Well, it wasn't the next week. It was 2 weeks later, but I was still right. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have made that video until I got a trailer because it would have given me something else to talk about. And I did talk about, sorry, I got to fix this microphone. It keeps messing up. Hang on. I did talk about the strange casting of the new Street Fighter, and I mentioned everything that I could with the information that I had, but what I didn't have when I made that video was a trailer showcasing it. And it's not really a trailer, it's like 45 seconds, it's a teaser really, but it shows you the look, the tone, the vibe, what the characters look like. Honestly, a lot of them look just like the Jackie Chan City Hunter movie, which is wild to me. It's kind of like we've come full circle. But yeah, I wanted to comment on it, so I do have it brought up here. So hopefully YouTube doesn't kill me with copyright bullshit. But I have this here. Yeah, so this is the Street Fighter teaser that we got. And some of the casting in here is just insane. And also, I don't know. The thing that confuses me so much about this movie is that I don't understand what the tone is really supposed to be, because this makes it look very like wild, wacky, over the top, kind of giving me a similar feel. Like it's gonna, I don't mean this as a compliment or not a compliment, it's somewhere in the middle, but it kind of gives me like a Scott Pilgrim versus the World vibe. I don't know, dude, I don't know. But anyways, here is some of it for you guys. Hopefully YouTube doesn't kill me. We'll play some of it. So you see Zangief. Yeah, let's go back. So Chun-Li, I mean, she looks great. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, does Chun-Li ever not look great? But yeah, so she looks great. Zangief, I think he looks pretty good there. I mean, looks just like Zangief. Then we have 50 Cent playing Balrog. 50 Cent playing Balrog. And that's the thing too. That's the thing with the casting is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to make of that. Like, what do you mean 50 Cent is Balrog? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny. I don't know if that's supposed to be serious. It's somewhere in the middle. I mean, he looks the part in the trailer, but I really, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Then we have Dhalsim. He looks awesome. But okay, so I love this. I love the vibe of how this setting looks. There's a lot of shots in the trailer that look like they're from this nightclub. It gives a very kind of like John Wick sort of vibe to it. And I like how Dhalsim looks, especially since I feel like this character has been extremely disrespected in most of the adaptations and live action stuff. Like in the 90s live action movie, I didn't even realize Dhalsim was Dhalsim in that movie. He's just a scientist that's working on Blanca, and then after an explosion, he just becomes bald. But he never had like the look, the feeling. He never had a fight scene. He never did any of the powers. He never yoga fired anything. You know, he just was kind of standing around. So I like the look of this and how Dhalsim feels here. And even in the Street Fighter animated stuff that I've seen, there's still stuff I haven't seen, but in the Street Fighter 2 anime movie, Dhalsim is in one quick scene. He fights E Honda, and it's like it's over in a flash. He's cool in the scene, but the movie, the story doesn't really have anything to do with him. And then I'm pretty sure he was not in the Street Fighter Alpha movie, and I don't remember Street Fighter 2V that well. I know I've seen it, but I was really young, so I can't remember if Dalsum is kind of like around in that show or not. But anyways, so he's there. Honda looks great. Cammy, I can't complain, you know. But then we get to Ryu. I mean, Ryu looks awesome. This actor too. He was in a martial arts TV show. Was it Warrior? What show was it? He was in I can't remember, but he was in like a martial arts TV show, and he was pretty good. And this is the one that concerns me. So you have whatever this actor's name is, like Malshi. How do you pronounce his last name? He was in Late Night with the Devil. He was in James Gunn's Suicide Squad. What is his name? I can't remember. If anybody in the chat remembers his name real quick, I can't remember. But this is the one that concerns me even more than like 50 Cent as Balrog, is that, you know, the actor is kind of like a smaller dude. I'm not saying that he's not in shape, but M. Bison in Street Fighter is jacked. Like, this motherfucker is a force to be reckoned with. He is huge. You know, he's huge. He's powerful. He's got like the psycho power or whatever. And every depiction of Bison, he's always been like a massive guy. Now, I understand Raul Julia in the original Street Fighter obviously wasn't huge, but I mean, I don't think we should really be, you know, looking to the 90s Street Fighter as like a pinnacle of what Street Fighter should aim for. You know, he was great in that version, but I think if they're making a new version, let's try to make it a little bit more, you know, accurate, right? But this, I don't know what they're going to do with him in that role, because he feels, I love him as an actor, but as Bison, I feel like he is extremely miscast. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. And then this guy too. What is this? He's a comedian. He does like a podcast. What is it? Andrew Schultz. That's this guy. He's playing the character of Dan. And if you know anything about Street Fighter, you know Dan is sort of like a comedic joke character. He's sort of meant to be a spoof. So it makes sense that they would get a comedian to play him. I don't know why him specifically when there's a lot of others that you could have chosen, but I mean, yeah, so he's there. I'm not sure who that character is. Vega, he looks great. I don't know what actor's playing him, but all you really need to do with Vega is just put a mask on him, give him some claws, and you got Vega. Hopefully he's doing some acrobatics. And then, yeah, so Guile is the one that really messes with me, because he's played by Cody Rhodes, a wrestler. And the hair, bro. The hair, like, that's the thing, too. Like, this, along with 50 Cent as Balrog, it just makes me so confused as to what the tone of this movie is going to be, because like you could just have him have blonde hair and just have him do like a spiked look, right? You could just have him like look like a typical 90s, you know, spiked hairdo kind of guy. I think this movie is actually supposed to take place in the 90s as well. But they went all out. They went with the full giant like video game aesthetic hair, which this is what reminds me of the Jackie Chan movie where they do the Street Fighter references. And so again, I'm not sure what to make of this. I'm not sure, because like in the beginning, you got me. You got, you know, Chun-Li, Zangief, these characters look great. Dalsum looks great. Cammy. And then you get to these ones. You get to Bison, Dan, and Guile. And I just don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what this movie is going to be. But anyway. Yeah, what was it? Akuma as well? Which he's played by a different wrestler. I'm not sure his name. I can't get it. Well, anyways. Here's Balrog. Looks like he's punching someone's dick. I don't know. Probably would hurt. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, look, like, you give me some good action, some good choreography, I'm probably going to enjoy the fight scenes, right? If the fight scenes are filmed well, like if there's one thing you got to get right in Street Fighter, it's the fight scenes, right? So, like, if that works, then I think the movie will at least be entertaining. You know, minus the casting, minus whatever story they're going to do. If you can at least give me great choreography, great fight scenes in a Street Fighter movie, you know, I'll be down for that. And the trailer's very quick. It's only like 40 seconds. But there's some, I mean, there's some promising little fight moments in there, you know what I mean? And like the destroying the car at the end, I mean, that's pretty legit, you know? That's pretty great. That, I honestly, you kind of won me over with that. But I really don't know. I don't know. I wish the fight scene clips were a little longer, you know? Like, I wish I could get a little bit more of a feel of the choreography, but I mean, I'm still gonna go see it regardless. Anyways, there's that. M. Bison wasn't jacked in Street Fighter 2? Bro, what do you mean he wasn't jacked in Street Fighter 2? He's huge. He's humongous. Especially in the anime version. But yeah, Dan is basically the Mr. Satan of Street Fighter. If I remember his story right, which I probably don't, I think that he says that he either trained Ryu or trained with Ryu, and then he opens like a martial arts school, and like kind of like he kind of is like Dan. He kind of is like Mr. Satan. He's kind of like why am I forgetting his name? The guy from One Punch Man, King. Yeah, he's sort of like that character in the Street Fighter universe. They need to start casting wrestlers for things. They're all actors at the end of the day. WWE is basically a modern day Shakespeare play. Yeah, I mean, they're physically fit. They're good at what they do. They're performers, but you know, the list of wrestlers that are great actors. I mean, there's a difference between acting like when you're being this larger than life wrestler character on the stage and like, you know, making these huge gestures and getting the crowd riled up. Like that's a type of acting. But when it comes to, you know, the deeper, you know, more emotional bits of like doing character work, I don't feel like there's a lot of wrestlers that cross over. There's some, like I think Dave Bautista is probably the best. Like I've seen him do a couple of emotional roles, and you know, he's no Daniel Day-Lewis, but like he can be pretty damn good. And I'm pretty won over with John Cena for the most part. I mean, depending on what he's casted in, because I do think a lot of the stuff that he's done on Peacemaker has actually showcased his acting ability really well. He does hit some emotional moments throughout Peacemaker Season 2 that I was surprised that he hit. But like a wrestler like The Rock, I didn't see Smashing Machine. I probably should. But I've never really been convinced by, like, he's always just felt like The Rock in every movie to me. Thank you for the super chat, Vlox. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. First stream in a while. Those damn Street Fighter 4 muscles are the crazy ones. Good to see you, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Oh, they definitely are. Yeah. Street Fighter, kind of like Dragon Ball Z, you know, just makes their characters more progressively jacked throughout the course of the series. Like Ryu in like the original, you know, arcade Street Fighter is just like a, you know, regular thin martial artist, and then by the time you get to Street Fighter 4, every single character is a bodybuilder basically. But especially Bison, man. Bison gets huge. But like I like half the casting. I just don't know what this movie is really going to be. But like I said, if they can at least nail the choreography and the fight scenes and give me good energy, that's what I want. I want to come out of the Street Fighter movie wanting to like go box. I want to come out of the movie wanting to do spin kicks. You know what I mean? Like that's how the movie should make me feel. By the time Street Fighter is over, I should walk out of the theater and like literally want to punch whoever I see next in the face, whether they're a baby or not. Like, I just want to be able to punch somebody. Like, that's how this movie needs to make me feel. And if it makes me feel that, then I will consider it a success. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. The chat just lets me see people's like not the username that they create, but just like the original username. So now it's all weird. But it says the super chat is from 11201994, which I know you've sent in a super chat the last couple of streams as well. So I appreciate it, but it doesn't give me like the original username anymore, which is weird. But anyways, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Super chat says, early stream, boys. Fun with T2 stream last time out, Ryan's. Yeah. And actually, I went back and I played it through normal mode again. And when you get to the moment where you can change the like inhibitor chip on the Terminator, you can choose to turn it off or on. So I chose this time to keep it off. And if you do that, it allows the Terminator to kill people. So there's actually an extra stage, an extra level later on when you're going into the Cyberdyne building and blowing it up, where you get to play as the Terminator. You get to play as Arnold, the T-800, and you get to go through with that minigun and just blow people away. Like when he's going out, when he crashes through the window and he like, in the movie, where he destroys all the cop cars and the helicopter and stuff, you get to play that scene, but you get to play leading up to that scene. And leading up to that scene, you get to go through and like shoot down a bunch of the guards and stuff, because if you make that choice, because in Terminator 2, you know, they change it so that the Terminator doesn't kill, or they tell him not to kill people. And they change it so that he can learn and all that kind of stuff. So like, if you choose not to do it, then you're more free to really be a Terminator, which is pretty awesome. So they give you like extra moments and extra scenes if you make other choices. Yeah, Batista is fantastic for a wrestler turned actor. He really is. You know, I liked him in like Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, but when he was in the beginning of Blade Runner 2049, where he plays that really, really small role, talking to Ryan Gosling in the beginning, that was a moment where I was like, yo, Batista's actually got it. And he was in that movie, that M. Night Shyamalan movie, Knock at the Cabin, which wasn't a great movie. It wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't memorable, you know, but he was really good in it. He plays a pretty emotional role in that movie and also has to be intimidating but sympathetic at the same time. I thought he did a pretty good job in that one. The other thing I wanted to talk about, for anybody in the chat that happens to be a Godzilla fan or a kaiju fan, we need to talk about this motherfucker over here. We got to talk about motherfucking Spacegodzilla, okay? So it was revealed, it was leaked actually this week. It was not a proper announcement. It didn't come from a studio. There wasn't a trailer or anything, but people discovered through the Writers Guild of America website, there was a working title for Godzilla Kong Supernova, which is the next in the Monsterverse. That's the American Godzilla movies. So there was Godzilla 2014, King of the Monsters, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla vs. Kong, and then New Empire. So the next one coming out is called Supernova, and people have known for a while that it's going to be more sci-fi, and, you know, they're teasing that something is going to come from space. So everyone was thinking, you know, is it going to be Gigan? Is it going to be Space Godzilla? Is it going to be a new monster? Is it going to be, you know, a different version of King Ghidorah? All that kind of stuff. Well, it was apparently leaked that they have source material copyrighted that they can use from Godzilla and from Space Godzilla. And if you know anything about the original Space Godzilla movie, the only monsters in that movie are, other than Godzilla, are Space Godzilla and Baby Godzilla, and I guess Moguera if you want to count that. But like, yeah, so obviously of all the ones that they're going to use, considering Supernova is meant to be a sci-fi kind of space movie, obviously they're going to use Space Godzilla. So this came out. It has since been taken down, but it got out, it got around. People have been talking about it. So pretty much confirmed, even though they haven't outright said it, that Space Godzilla is going to be the enemy for the next Godzilla Kong movie. And that's this fucker right here. I have a couple of thoughts about it, you know, both positive and negative. I'll say the negative first. My negative here is that of all the monsters they could have picked, there are so many other monsters I wish they went with instead of Spacegodzilla. I wish they did, if they're going to do a space monster and they've already done Ghidorah, I understand your options are limited, but I'm also totally down with them creating a brand new monster like they did with the Mutos, or like the skull crawlers from Skull Island. Like, so I feel like you could have come up with a new monster as well. My issue with Spacegodzilla really is that it is just legitimately too similar to Godzilla. Because in the last couple of movies, we've had Godzilla fight Mechagodzilla, which is basically a Godzilla doppelganger. And then in the last movie, you had Godzilla fight Shimu, which isn't a Godzilla doppelganger per se, but it's a giant lizard that instead of, spitting, his atomic beam shoots ice. It's just like, it's pretty close. It's pretty similar to Godzilla. So to have another monster that's pretty much Godzilla again, like a Godzilla fighting another version of himself, this time more specifically, it just feels like I want more variety in the monsters, especially since the last couple of movies have been Godzilla and Kong. First of all, I want Godzilla to have his own movie again. Like, I want a standalone Godzilla movie. I love King Kong, but I just don't want to trap us into a franchise where it has to be Godzilla and Kong every single time. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. And then adding on top of that, if you want more variety of monsters, if you add in Spacegodzilla, you're just getting like a different version of Godzilla when other monsters have a lot more creativity and variety to them, like Biollante, which is made from a plant and has like the vine, like the vines with like the mouths on them and stuff, and has different forms. Or you have Hedorah, the smog monster that's made from toxic waste and can like shapeshift and do all these other things. Or you have, even Anguirus, which is a basic monster, but still it's different. It's like this armor-plated, four-legged creature that can burrow in the ground. And like, characters that have different powers, different abilities, different looks, different designs than Godzilla himself. And so that's kind of my main issue, is because I kind of feel like Spacegodzilla is just sort of like, it's just an evil version of Godzilla, basically, right? And also, I mean, the Spacegodzilla movie itself, the one that exists from the Heisei era, is not one of my favorite Godzilla movies. It's I don't think it's actually that good. It's kind of I love every Godzilla movie to a degree because I love Godzilla, but like, it's not one of my. I think in my ranking of all the Godzilla movies, I'm pretty sure it's pretty damn low, actually. Wait, let me check, because I do have the list here somewhere. Oh yeah, follow me on Letterboxd, by the way. Yeah, so this is my Godzilla movie ranking, and I put Spacegodzilla at number 30 out of 38. That's my ranking of the Spacegodzilla movie. It's down pretty low. I still like it, but it's down pretty low compared to the others. That's my ranking there. Super chat from John Stone. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. What are your favorite Godzilla monsters? You should do a video on the good and the bad. My favorites are Destroya, Smaug, Spider King, Horrific. Of just like giant monsters in general. Yeah. I did do a ranking list of all of the Godzilla enemies. I did a tier list at some point. It's probably still pretty accurate to what I think. I might have changed my mind a little bit. I'd say, other than Godzilla, my top ones are, the basic picks. Ghidorah is up there. Rodan is up there pretty high for me. Biollante is up there really high for me. Mothra, obviously. I like Anguirus a lot. Destroya is pretty high up there. And then outside of Godzilla, I really love like War of the Gargantuas, or some of the Heisei Gamera films are really, really, really good. I would say when it comes to kaiju stuff, I would say Godzilla movies are probably where most of my fandom and knowledge lies. Outside of Godzilla, I know the Gamera stuff fairly well, not nearly as well as I know Godzilla. And the early Toho stuff I really like Rodan, War of the Gargantuas, Frankenstein Conquers the World, Varan. I know that stuff. But when it comes to like Ultraman and that whole side of things, I don't really know much at all. I never really got a chance to check it out, and I never really took the time to sit down and like watch through, Ultraman or Zone Fighter or any of that stuff. So my knowledge is really limited when it comes to that stuff. But thank you, man. Appreciate it. But I do have positives, though. I do have positives as well about Space Godzilla. One thing I'll say is that with modern technology and with the MonsterVerse so far, I think that with a little bit of redesign and maybe a little bit of change in his origin as well, because the origin of Space Godzilla is still kind of vague. Like, from what I remember, it's like Godzilla cells got up into space because of Mothra or Biollante. It's like unclear. And then they got sucked into a black hole and they mutated with some crystal shit. And they created like a crystal Godzilla thing that has weird telekinetic powers and can build kingdoms out of his crystals and stuff. Like he's got a lot of wild powers. Anyways, so I don't know how they're going to change the lore to fit into the MonsterVerse. But I think there's a lot of potential with that, because I'm all about, when it comes to Godzilla, I'm all about reinterpretations and different versions of the characters. Like, I like how in GMK, you have Ghidorah, Mothra, and Baragon as sort of like the guardians of Earth, right? When traditionally Ghidorah is a monster from space and like an evil creature. They completely changed it in that movie. I'm okay with stuff like that when it comes to Godzilla. Like, there's some versions of characters I prefer more than others, but I'm okay with changing things around. So I think if they come up with a really good reason for Space Godzilla to exist, and they change the design and make it their own, make it unique, make it different, I think we could still have a really cool monster. And I also think that when it comes to powerful enemies for Godzilla to fight, Space Godzilla is no fucking joke. Like, this is, I think, like, I don't do like power scaling that often, but if I were to power scale Godzilla characters, Space Godzilla would be pretty damn near the top. You know what I mean? Like pretty damn high. Like, he has a ridiculous amount of powers, incredibly evil. Like I said, he can create like a whole like crystal city, crystal kingdom. He's got like weird telekinetic powers where he can basically like just pick Godzilla up and throw him. He's obviously got like his own version of the atomic beam and all that kind of stuff. So, he's got a lot of things that he can do. So like, I think that'll work fine, for what it is. If I had the choice, I would go with a totally different monster, totally different character. But if they are doing Space Godzilla, I just hope for the best. I just hope it's a good movie. I hope they come up with a good reason for its existence. I hope they come up with some cool stuff along the way. Maybe throw in some other monsters that we don't know about. I mean, the only ones on the Writers Guild that was, trademarked was Godzilla and Space Godzilla. So I don't know if we're even getting like Mothra or anything. But I hope we get a little bit more. And it also doesn't mean that we can't get a new monster as well. Nobody's saying that Space Godzilla is going to be the only enemy. I mean, in the last movie, we had two enemies. You had Shimu and Scar King or whatever. So, like, there's no reason that Space Godzilla is going to be the only enemy, especially if this is a Godzilla Kong movie. I mean, we need somebody for Kong to fight too, right? I mean, I guess they can both team up and fight Space Godzilla, but what if there's a Space Kong? Why not? I'd love to see what that looks like. Yeah, pretty wild. But anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts about Space Godzilla. I was going to make a whole video about it, but I figured I would just rant about it in a stream. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I'm kind of disappointed because it's really not the monster that I would have wanted. But at the same time, I do see the potential. I do think there is some really cool stuff they could do with it. So we'll see how it goes. I think for the most part, we just have to wait for a trailer. I think that'll give me more of an idea of how he's going to be utilized and if it's going to be worth it, Yeah, Godzilla versus Gamera. I'm still holding out hope that someday that will happen. Someday. I just want Gamera to come back in general. It's been so long since there's been a Gamera movie, and I know they did that animated series, which was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was all right. But I think it's time for Gamera to make a comeback, you know? And I keep wanting the MonsterVerse to get Gamera. Because, like, I feel like if there's any franchise that would do it, it's like, I think they would do it before Toho would do it. But at the same time, I think since Toho, owns Godzilla outright, they pretty much have to approve everything that the MonsterVerse does with him. So I don't think that Toho would let the MonsterVerse, Legendary or whatever, be the first ones to do a Godzilla versus Gamera. I think they would probably think, if that's going to happen, if that's a thing that's ever going to happen, it's going to be Toho that makes it happen, you know? I feel like they would have some kind of, like, ownership, some kind of pride over that. It's like, no. Like, if you're doing that, you're not doing that before we're doing that. I don't know. That's just how I see it. Yeah, it's cold where you are. Yeah, I'm always cold, man. I'm always freezing. So I live in Pennsylvania in the U.S. and it gets cold here, man. Today's actually pretty nice. Today it's like in the 40s in Fahrenheit. But it gets so cold, man, and I freeze. Like, I'm always wearing hoodies and hats and shoes indoors. Like, people give me shit all the time for wearing shoes inside, but like, the reason I do is because my feet are cold. Like, I'm freezing half the time, you know? I wear like double socks. I keep my shoes on half the time. I wear hoodies inside. Yeah. I also don't put my heat up too high in my house because, money. So yeah, I'm always freezing. From like December to April, I'm always bundled up inside. There was a pretty cool IDW solo comic about Space Godzilla, and his power set is cool, but he's kind of mid. Feel like Mechagodzilla is the perfect Godzilla doppelganger, and having two is excessive. Oh, I mean, I agree with you, and that's the main reason why I don't want Space Godzilla, because we already did Mechagodzilla, and we already did Shimu, which I know isn't like exactly a Godzilla clone, but it's still a giant lizard. And it's like, I want more variety in the monsters. Like, I want monsters with different types of powers, different looks, different abilities. That's why I want a Biollante. That's why I want a Hedorah. That's why I want an Anguirus, is because, like, they're so different from Godzilla. They're a completely different type of creature. And doing Space Godzilla, it's kind of like, well, it's just like an evil version of Godzilla, But like I said, I do think there's potential. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm just not over the moon about it either. I'm not really excited about it, but I don't hate it at the same time. I kind of just, let's wait to see what they give me. Another super chat from John Stone. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. With Godzilla / kaiju movies, which Godzilla kaiju movies have the best human characters? Another video idea for you. That is a good video idea. I could do like a top 10 with that. I think Cloverfield and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla 2002. The best human characters. Well, I'll go through the Godzilla movies just in general. I think, obviously, the original Dr. Serizawa is probably the best Godzilla character of all time. The most important, at least when it comes to, like, the themes of the movie and, the performance and everything. I really like the characters in Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. I love Glenn, the astronaut. Love that guy. He's such a suave motherfucker. Love him. I love the, forgive me, I don't remember every character's name, but the old man character in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the Heisei one, the one that had the history with witnessing Godzilla as a dinosaur back in World War II. And then he has this kind of like bond connection with Godzilla, and then obviously gets killed later on. I thought he was a great character. I really like, obviously Godzilla -1 has a phenomenal cast across the board. Shin Godzilla has a great cast across the board. I really like the reporter girl from GMK. I think she's a great protagonist. Let's see, who else? If we're going outside of Godzilla, I think in Gamera, Revenge of Iris, the girl that Iris, connects to, that she's trying to get her revenge on Gamera. I think she has a really great arc. She's a really great character. Let me go back to my Godzilla films here. This is my Godzilla ranking. I did a video on this before, and actually I might have changed a few things around since then. But yeah, I think Godzilla vs. Mothra, I think, has great characters. That trio of reporters that go to Infant Island and try to convince Mothra to fight Godzilla, I think they're all great. What else? What else? What else? I actually, I might get shit for this one, but I actually really like the characters in King of the Monsters, the MonsterVerse one. I know a lot of people hate the human characters in this one, and I do think there are a lot of ridiculous moments and a little too much screen time with the characters, but I kind of like the broken family dynamic. I kind of like the father that's like a wildlife expert that like has all this knowledge on the creatures, and I kind of like, the little girl being torn between the mother and father that are doing different things. I kind of like the characters in this one. So, yeah, those are all probably my favorite. Oh, another underrated one that I'll also probably get shit on is Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Ebra. I love the characters in this movie. I think this is the most underrated Godzilla movie, in my opinion, is Ebra, Horror of the Deep, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. A lot of people hate this one because they think it's boring. Godzilla doesn't show up until over an hour in. It's very basic. It's just characters stranded on an island. But, like, I love the characters in this one. I like the goofy dudes in the beginning that are trying to win the dance contest. I like the bank robber or whatever he was, played by Akira Takarada. That guy, I love him because he steals this ship, and then the other characters come onto the ship in the middle of the night while he's sleeping, basically, and steal it and sail it off onto the ocean, and he wakes up and he's just like trapped with these buffoons, and then they get stranded on an island together. And I love the characters in this movie, and I feel like this is, for me, in my opinion, this is the most underrated Godzilla movie of all time. Like, it's not the best. I mean, I put it at my number 20, right? My number 20, but still 20 out of 38, it's still kind of on the higher end a little bit, or pretty close to. But yeah, I have at my number one, I have Godzilla, the original, because I just feel like the original is on this pedestal that just can't be broken, or, like, I feel like it would be sacrilegious to put any Godzilla movie above the original, because the original is such an important piece of cinema. It's such an important piece of media in the history of kaiju films and Godzilla in general, and what it means for Japan and the themes and ideas that are happening. And it's just such a brilliant, perfect movie that I feel like it stands outside of the rest of the Godzilla franchise, if that makes any sense. Like, you have the original film, 1954, and that's sort of just like your baseline. And then every other movie comes after it with varying degrees. Like, some of these movies I might actually enjoy watching more. But I think that the original Godzilla is just such a masterpiece of cinema that it's just impossible for me not to rank it at number one, Anyways, but my number two is Godzilla vs. Biollante. I absolutely adore this movie. Then I have the original Godzilla vs. Mothra. Then I have King Kong vs. Godzilla, the original. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the original, at my number 5. GMK, my number 6. Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, number 7. Godzilla vs. Destroya at number 8. Godzilla Final Wars. Yes, I don't care. I fucking love Final Wars at number 9. Shin Godzilla at number 10. That's my top 10, and then it goes down the list. You can follow my Letterboxd and look at all my lists if you want to, but that's kind of how I rank it right there. Those are my top. This is my top 15. Going further, I have -1, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla 2000, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. That's my top 15. Oh, the kid from Godzilla's Revenge as the best character. Oh yeah, totally. That's the best Godzilla character of all time. Like fuck Serizawa or any of the others. It's definitely the kid from Godzilla's Revenge. Totally. What about the humans in Godzilla 98? I like them. I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say they're great characters, but I do have a nostalgic like for them because I did like that movie as a kid, and I still like that movie. You know, it's not a Godzilla. I don't. It's hard to contextualize as a Godzilla movie, but it's a fun monster movie. I didn't even put it last. I put it at 32. So 32 out of 38 is the 98 Godzilla movie for me. The only ones under it are the shitty anime trilogy from Netflix, Son of Godzilla, Raids Again, and All Monsters Attack with the kid. Those are the only ones I have under it. But the reason, honestly, why I rank it so low is because it's just not really Godzilla. Like, it's a fun movie, and I enjoy it. I have a really good time with it, but it just doesn't give me what I need from a Godzilla movie. You know, they just didn't get Godzilla right. But it's a really fun monster movie. If they would have called it something else, you know, obviously it wouldn't have made as much money. But, you know, if they would have called it something else, I'd probably like it even more. Yeah, the other thing I was going to ask you guys are if anybody has a suggestion. It's coming up to the end of the year now, and I'm trying to gather my ranking of like what I would consider my top 10 movies of 2025. And I'm actually kind of struggling a little bit to figure it out because I honestly don't think that 2025 was that great of a year for movies. Or maybe I just haven't seen a lot of good movies this year. There are some that I love. Like I loved Bring Her Back. I loved Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I loved Weapons. You know, 28 years later has really, really grown on me. But overall, there's not a movie this year that came out that I'm like over the moon about. Like last year, like I was raving about Nosferatu. Last year I was raving about The Substance and Dune Part 2. Like last year had movies that I loved with all of my heart and soul. This year, I'm having a really, really hard time even figuring out what my top 5 would be. So as we get to the end of the year, and we got about 2 weeks left of 2025, are there any movies that I should seek out that I have not seen yet that I should when considering a ranking for 2025? I have a few on my list. Like I know I need to watch Begonia. I've been trying to watch some movies that I just can't find anywhere because they're just not out on streaming yet, like Hamnet or the new Silent Night, Deadly Night. Did not play at my theater, so I wasn't able to go see it. But yeah, I'm struggling to figure out my favorite movies of the year. There's just not a ton that I was super, super stoked about. Like there's definitely movies I like, but I don't know, not a very, not overall a fantastic year. Sinners. I did see Sinners. I like Sinners. That'll definitely be on the top 10. Uh, Park Chan-wook's new film. That is one I've searched for, but I can't find it. So if it's not on streaming, I'm probably not going to be able to watch it before the end of the year. Primitive War. That's on my list to get to as well. I think I think that's on Amazon to rent. I can't remember. Is The Shining a Christmas movie? I mean, I don't. Is it? No, I mean it's a winter movie. But is it a Christmas movie? I don't think so. I don't think they do Christmas in The Shining, do they? Now I can't remember. Sup, Ryan? Love from Lithuania. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I always love finding out like where people are watching from. You know, it's always so interesting how much it varies. You know. Afraid I don't have anything for you. I'm permanently like 3 years behind. I mean that's how I feel too, man. It's hard to keep up. especially when I'm trying to watch things and make videos on it. You know, it's like I'm always so far behind, and there's always so many things people want me to cover, and it's like I'm trying to get to it all. It's just it's madness. It's madness. It is madness. You can claim Eyes Wide Shut as a Christmas movie from the last scene. Oh, Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie because not just the last scene, the whole movie is filled with Christmas decorations. Like the Christmas tree is always lit. In the beginning, when they go to that party, there's like the garland and the lights and stuff like that. It's totally, Eyes Wide Shut is totally a Christmas movie through and through. All right. You know, I think that's undeniable. I watched it last week. I got I was actually a little bit bummed because Criterion released Eyes Wide Shut, and I could have sworn that I ordered the 4K because I already have the original Blu-ray from way back in, whenever they first released it. So I wanted the 4K, but it showed up at my doorstep, and I ordered the Criterion Blu-ray. And I looked at the order, and I did somehow. I don't know how that happened because I only wanted to upgrade so that I could get the 4K version, right? And I was like, God damn it. It still looks great, though. I mean, it still looks phenomenal, but I was a little bit bummed. I was like, well, I wouldn't have spent that much money on it if I had known it was the Blu-ray and not the 4K. You know what I mean? But it's all good. It's all good. But I rewatched it, and it holds up, and it might be one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's kind of like teetering on that edge of whether or not I should include it in my top 100 list. The Minecraft movie came out this year, peak cinema. Oh, God, don't remind me. That feels like forever ago. I don't know why. Maybe it's just something like that happens, and I see those visuals of people being assholes in the movie theater, and I just try to block it out of my mind and never think about it again. And then when I'm reminded, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was a thing. To me, it feels like forever ago. Super chat from Vlogs. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support. Love seeing Eyes Wide Shut and 12 Angry Men on your Instagram story. Both films are so goated. Yes, they absolutely are, my friend. Yeah. I always try to, if you follow me on Instagram, I always try to just send a little clip or an image of what I'm watching that night, just to kind of, I don't know, just to kind of share it. But yeah, I watched 12 Angry Men the other night. It's been a long time. Fantastic movie from start to finish. I was really in the mood to watch a movie that takes place all in one location. And I was like, well, what better movie than 12 Angry Men? So I was like, also I like to go back and watch some of the classics sometimes, But Eyes Wide Shut is so fantastic. I literally might start ranking that higher on my favorite films list. Even favorite Kubrick films, because the ones I would put over it are like 2001, The Shining, maybe Clockwork Orange. But now Eyes Wide Shut is sort of fighting for that third spot. It's just one of those movies that I think gets better on rewatch, that you always kind of notice little subtle things. And there's so many theories about that film, too, about what was cut out and what he was trying to say. And, a lot of it is really interesting. I saw one theory that said basically that Tom Cruise's story in that movie is like the entire movie is an initiation ritual for him to get into that club, which is kind of weird to think about. Another theory is that his wife, Nicole Kidman, was in on it the entire time. Some people say that she knows. Some people say that she doesn't. But I think the most haunting thing about the movie is the fact that you don't know, is that there's this higher echelon of elite people that are involved in these crazy things, and they're around you all the time, and they can be watching you at any time, and they can make anything happen, and you don't know who they are. You don't know who to piss off. You don't know who to be polite to. Like, you don't know. And I think that that's kind of like the horror of the movie, is the uncertainty that now that he was in that scenario, anybody around him could be somebody that was there. and even his wife. Like, who knows? He doesn't know, and he never really will, unless I guess he decides to join them, which I don't. From my opinion, is that he does not want to. Is that he was in way over his head, and but that's my opinion on it. A little off topic, but are you going to check out the Berserk board game? If I can get my hands on it, sure. Like if I can find it at a decent price. The problem is I'm not going to have people to play it with because getting a group of friends together has been increasingly more difficult as time goes on. And I haven't even played D&D with my friends in like over a year at this point. We used to be trying to do it fairly consistently to get together and play D&D. It went from like twice a month to like once a month to like every other month, and now we just haven't done it in like a year. Just being an adult sucks. Everyone is busy, people have lives, people have kids, people aren't free. We can't get together. So like I feel like I would get it, I would own it for the novelty, to have it in the collection. That would be cool. But I don't think I would ever get a chance to play it because I would never have a chance to get enough friends in one location at one time. Plus, my friends aren't into Berserk like I am, so like convincing them to play it is one thing. So I don't know, but if I can get my hands on it, I definitely will pick it up. Just watch a lot of your 5 hour content while editing. Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Those videos do better than any other on my channel, and it's really funny because I had so many people in the beginning telling me to make short content and to make YouTube shorts and all of that because people don't want to watch 5 hour long videos and everything. Turns out they actually do. Turns out people actually do like to watch them either over the course of a couple of days. They put them on while they're going to sleep. They listen to them while they're driving or on headphones while they're doing activities or stuff, or like put it on the side while they're doing like put it on the background while they're cleaning their house. I don't know how people watch it, but I get comments like that all the time. And those are the videos. If I look at my YouTube analytics, most of my videos are incredibly trash when it comes to views, but the long form content does the best out of everything. So, I would love to do more than that. The problem with that is that it takes a really long time to make those videos, and so I can't put them out consistently. And so, like, I would love to have tons of them and to try to get as many eyeballs on them as I can and get the views from them. But the reality is, they take like 2-3 months to make to begin with. So I can only put out like 3 to 4 a year, maybe. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is off topic from the channel, really, but I actually did, I think, get to a point where I'm confident to say that I finished writing my script. So I've been working on it for a while. I mean, I've had the story for a really, really long time, but I decided to just like sit down, buckle down, and just like barrel through it to the best of my ability. And I've had several different drafts. I've had about 9 drafts in total where I keep changing things. I've printed it out a couple of times so I could sit down and read it from start to finish and get a feel for the vibe and the flow of everything. And I think I'm at a point where I'm happy with it, I guess. I mean, I'm always going to have like insecurities about it or whatever, but like I think I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, the script is officially done. I'll probably change a little bit of it once I get feedback from people. So I sent it to a couple of my friends that I know actually like to read, and will give me good feedback on it. But I read it again yesterday. I sat down, so I have it right here. So I have my script. I finished it. It is exactly 100 pages, and the way that screenplays are supposed to be formatted, at least as far as like I know, is that every page equals roughly around a minute of screen time. So a 100-page script would be like around an hour and 40 minutes roughly, which is kind of where I wanted it. I didn't really want to try to make like a 2-hour movie. Like I wasn't trying to be ambitious like that. At the end of the day, it is a horror film, so I didn't want it to go on too long. But yeah, so I have it right here. I don't really like my title. I want to change the title. I just don't know what to change it to. But right now it's called The Forever Friends. Not Friends Forever. It's called The Forever Friends. And yeah, so it's 100 pages. I read it. I feel confident about it. I'm going to send it out to some people so that they can give me their feedback, their ideas on it. And then I'll probably change a few things. I wrote it with intention to hopefully film someday. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to, if I'll ever have the means to, but at least the script is done. So if I ever do get to a point in life where I can do it, I don't have to worry about coming up with an idea or coming up with a story. Like the story is done. I got it. It's here. It's ready to go. I just need everything else. Actors, crew, a budget, you know, location, special effects, everything else that comes with making a movie I need. But at least I have the story. I have the script. Like that's done. So, yeah, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to tackle trying to do this. I think that what I'm going to do is what I said before and film a scene. So I wrote it in a way where obviously I know it's going to be low budget. It mostly takes place in one location. It has 7 main characters. So small cast, mostly one location. And outside of that location, a lot of it is filmed outdoors, like in the woods or in a parking lot or like simple shit, right? I wrote it with the idea in mind that this is hopefully something I'm going to film someday. So I tried to make it as easy to do as possible while still trying to make it interesting. And there's kind of like a balance there because I do need to find really good actors because I have a couple of performances in this that I need to be like really serious and on point. So I got to find people that are really interested in acting. But I'm thinking about basically doing this. I wrote it in a way also where I can take a pocket scene out of it that I could basically film as a short film. So think about like the opening of Scream with Drew Barrymore and how if you only watch that opening scene of Scream, you don't really need to see the rest of the movie. You could watch that as a short film. Obviously, it doesn't tell you who the killer is or anything, but like if you just watch that as a short film about a girl answering a phone, getting tormented over the phone, and then eventually getting killed, if you just watch that in a pocket, it's a little short film. And so I had that in mind when I was writing this, and I was like, I'm going to write an opening scene that is like a short film that can be filmed within its own little pocket and just work as a short film. And that requires 2 actors. So my idea is that if I can find 2 people that are down to act, and if I can find somebody to help me film and have like a couple of behind the scenes people to help me work on it, I could film that scene as sort of like a treatment and show people the scene and maybe try to get people involved by virtue of that scene to show people a little bit of like the idea, the tone, 2 of the actors that would be in it, you know, that sort of thing. And then maybe try to build like financing or at least like people that want to be involved, like maybe people that want to act in it, maybe people that want to help behind the scenes, and then maybe get some people on board, you know, just by virtue of that short film. Again, that's all kind of like abstract thinking right now. Things are really kind of hectic right now in life. So it's like, it's hard to contextualize because you got the end of the year, holiday stuff, living situations a little weird, but like things are all moving around very fast. So like, I'm trying to like think forward, think positive, and think of ways to help get people on board to try to do it. So that's my idea right now is if I can find 2 actors, film like a 10-15 minute sequence, that would be like a short film, that would be a scene from the movie, get that online, maybe from there, I don't know, start like a Kickstarter or something, and then, you know, try to get momentum going forward. It depends, you know. Like because honestly, like I'm a small fry on YouTube. You know, this isn't like fucking like Markiplier making a movie or like Chris Stuckman making a movie. Like you know, my last video did not even get 1,000 views. Like I'm not gonna be that guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be that guy that is able to raise a bunch of money to make a movie. Like if I'm lucky, I'll get a couple thousand. You know, so it's like it's not gonna be easy. But it's still something I want to do. It's a, you know, ambition of mine. It's a life dream of mine. And if I'm lucky, you know, even if I just film it and put it on YouTube, fuck it. I made a movie. You know what I mean? I mean, technically I've made movies before, right? When I was younger with my friends and stuff. But like, I mean, like something I can really consider like legitimate, that I really, really tried hard. Not that I didn't try hard on those, but you know what I'm saying? Like, not a fun comedy that I'm filming with my friends, but something that I'm really, really proud of, that I put a lot of heart, effort, and soul into. And even if it sucks, I can at least say, hey, I did that thing. You know, like that's something that I wanted to do. I followed it through and I accomplished it. Like that's what I want to do. So hopefully moving forward. But right now I'm kind of in a spot where I'm like, I'm just not thinking about it too much because I'm trying to get the holidays over with. January is a rough month because it's like it's a bad revenue month on YouTube. It's tax payment month. I have to get my car inspected. It's like all this shit going on. You know, maybe get through the winter, right? And then spring, summertime, you know, try to get the ball rolling a little bit. Maybe find 2 actors that are okay with getting paid with like, you know, a McDonald's meal or something. like they're fine, you know, not making money from it and just doing it for the love of the game. And, you know, get the short film online and then see what I can do from there. That's kind of the plan. I don't know. I'm also open to much better ideas, by the way. If anyone has a better plan of attack or a better course of action, let me know. There's actually a guy, I was a fan of the channel. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I talked to him a little bit on Discord, and he was making a movie of his own. He lives in a different country, but I might get in contact with him again too, just to kind of get advice or ideas. Yeah, you're still going to do a Kickstarter. I think at some point in the future, I think I want to have like a product to show people though. Like I want to make the short film first because I don't know. I feel kind of weird making a Kickstarter where I have nothing to, I mean, I have my YouTube channel, but that's not making movies, you know, like I want to have something I can show people. I want to have like a proof of concept before I start asking people for money. I'd love to help, but I don't want to go to America anytime soon. That's perfectly fine. I understand. Yeah, just don't give up. I won't. I mean, I've gone this far in life and I haven't. There's plenty of times that I want to, but I haven't yet. We love you, Ryan. Your horror retrospectives are watched once a week. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that from a fellow Ryan. Thank you, brother. I'm glad. I'm glad they give you entertainment, man. That's what it's all about. Opinion on trying to use mindfulness meditation to help with depression. I've been trying to change my inner voice in my head to be kind to myself. I think that's, I mean, you're doing the right thing. I think that you just have to recognize it. I think that the awareness is the biggest thing. So, you know, like Eckhart Tolle and people, they always say like, be the awareness behind your thoughts. Like think of your thoughts as something you're observing, not something that you necessarily are. If that makes any, I know it's kind of like wacky and like, you know, out there, you know, a little bit, but imagine all of your thoughts are, this is the visual. Here's a visual for you. Imagine like a stream of water, you know, and there's like sticks and other things floating on the water, and like those are your thoughts, right? And you can choose to focus in on them and identify with them and let your, you know, your thoughts rule you. Or when a thought comes by, you can actually just let it flow down the river. You can acknowledge it, you can see that it's there, be like, okay, but then let it pass. the thought's going to pop up in your head, you know, with negativity and bringing you down or whatever else. Acknowledge it, be like, oh, that's a thought, and then let it flow down the river. You don't need to take it out of the river. You don't need to pick it up. You don't need to identify with it. You don't need to acknowledge it like that. Just, you know, you see that it exists and you're like, okay, well, whatever. And then let it flow down. You know, don't necessarily attach to every single thought that you have. Use your thoughts as like a guide, but you don't have to use them in a way that will rule you, you know? And I would say, like, look up people like Eckhart Tolle, like Power of Now, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, that's what helped me, like, back in the day, like stuff like that. Might be able to help you out. Just don't attach and identify to the negative thoughts. Just let them be. Will you be acting in your own movie? I would prefer not to, and most of my characters are meant to be younger. So I have 7 main characters, and 5 of them I want to be in like their early 20s, like 22, 23, 24. Which, hey, if I shave my beard, I could probably still pass for, maybe. I don't know. And then 2 of the other characters are older. They're more around my age or a little bit older. But they all have way too many things to do, way too many lines of dialogue, way too much emotion to portray. I would not be able to do a very good job. I might do like a cameo role. Like, there's a couple of non-speaking roles, or there's a character that shows up and says a couple lines or whatever. So I might do something like that. I might show up as like a little cameo, but I would not be a main character in my own movie. I wouldn't want to fuck my own movie. I might fuck my own movie up in general already, just from not being a good director. I don't want to fuck it up more by being a bad actor, you know? Super chat from Sidhu. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for supporting the channel. Appreciate it. Greetings from Germany. Really enjoyed your content this year. To a successful 2026 and a cozy Christmas to you, Mr. Ryan. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you, man. Thank you. Yeah. It's crazy that the year is almost over. You know, it's Christmas next week and New Year's the week after. Like, dude, it's wild, man. I mean, every year gets faster and faster as you get older, but this year just flew by. Like, I feel like I just made that Arnold Schwarzenegger tier list, like, you know, the other day, and it was almost a year ago now, because I remember I watched all those movies when I was sick on New Year's. I am going to do the Jim Carrey one. By the way, I am currently right now in my free time trying to watch through as many Jim Carrey movies as I possibly can, because I do want to do the Jim Carrey tier list, but I want to do it for real, and I want to rank every single Jim Carrey movie. And there's a lot of stuff in his early career and a lot of stuff later on that I haven't seen, and I'm trying to watch through it, okay? While also trying to do all this other shit for YouTube, while also trying to write my script, while also managing relationships and friendships and all this bullshit. I'm also trying to watch every Jim Carrey movie ever made. So there is that. Oh, man. I'm so bald. Look at this shit. Shaved my head the other week. I'm so bald. There we go. I would. It would be like Orson Welles. I mean, if I was confident at all, even in the slightest of my acting ability, I probably would, but no. I'd rather get people that are actually decent at it. You know who I want to get in the movie is Kyle Gallner. I don't know why, but when I was writing it, I was picturing him as one of the characters. Obviously, he would never do it, because he'd be like, who the fuck is this random dude from Pennsylvania that can pay me $0? But you know what? I think I'm going to send him like a DM on Twitter or something, or I'm going to like tag him on Twitter. I'm going to be like, yo, Kyle Gallner, you should be in my movie. And he'll be like, why? And I'll be like, because it's a really good part, I promise. And he'll be like, how much are you going to pay me? And I was like, well, here's the thing. I don't have any money, but you should do it anyway. What are your thoughts for season 2 of Alien Earth? I really hope that they turn the ship around. I think that the show started with a lot of promise, and I think that there's a lot of good ideas in the show, but I think that it massively dropped the ball in the last 2 or 3 episodes of season 1. There's a lot of things they're doing that I don't like. I don't like the whole Wendy, controlling and commanding the aliens thing. And like, look, I don't care if it's been done before in a comic book or some other extended media. Just because it's been done before doesn't mean it's a good idea now. And I think it's a terrible idea. And they made the ending of the show called Alien barely, feature the alien. And I just think that's a mistake. So I hope that they rectify things. I hope that season 2 is better. Like, I'm always hoping for better, There's that. And the Devil May Cry anime got approved for a season 2. It's coming out next year. And I said the same thing. I was like, look, I don't love season 1. I mean, I'm kind of a defender of season 1 compared to a lot of people, but like, I still hope that season 2 is better. I still hope that they improve. Like, just because season 1 let me down doesn't mean, I mean, if we're going to get a season 2 anyway, it's like, I can't stop it from being made. I may as well hope for the best, that they correct the mistakes that they made the first time, or the things that I didn't like, or the letdowns that we had, like the Teocellus that was built up all season long and then did fucking nothing in the last episode. I hope that we don't get that kind of stuff again. So, I mean, I want it to be good. I want them to do better. Could always do the Tarantino route, do a small role, drop a couple of slurs, and then bounce. Yeah, but like, I don't want to embarrass myself like Tarantino has trying to act in his movies. Tarantino's best performance, acting performance, I think, is in a movie called 4 Rooms, which is it's like an anthology. It's a movie that actually takes place on New Year's Eve, which is funny because there's very few movies I can think of that actually have like New Year's Eve as a theme. But it's a movie that takes place in a hotel, and it's 4 different stories. Like, it's this like hotel worker that has to deal with these 4 different rooms of the night, and each room gets progressively weirder and weirder. It's a comedy. And every segment of the movie is directed by a different person. So Robert Rodriguez directs the segment, but the final segment is directed by Tarantino, and he acts in it, and he plays this like eccentric, rich douchebag guy that's incredibly drunk. And there's something about that type of character that Tarantino just nails. Like, probably no surprise that he nails a role like that. And the whole scene is like, he's getting this hotel worker up there because him and like 3 other people are drunk. Like, Bruce Willis is there and he's drunk. They're all drunk. And he's trying to convince the hotel worker to chop off the finger of somebody in the room because they made a bet. And if he loses the bet, he has to lose his finger. But none of them want to chop his finger off because they're all friends and they're all drunk. So they're trying to get a neutral party to chop the finger off of this guy. And the way that Tarantino plays this like eccentric, drunk, rich douchebag guy trying to convince the hotel worker to chop off this dude's finger is really funny. And it's probably his best role that he's ever done. Check it out. 4 Rooms. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. Probably not. What about In Living Color? I love it, but I'm only going to be counting movies in the tier list. So I'm not going to include it, but I do like In Living Color. I love Homie the Clown. Homie don't play that. You think Nolan has the best filmography of any director? No. No, I don't. Nolan has a lot of amazing movies, but like I wouldn't put Nolan in the same category as like Stanley Kubrick, you know? It depends. Like, how I'm trying to look at it too. Like, am I looking at it as objective as I can, who I think is the best, or am I looking at it as in personal favorites? Because those are two different categories, right? But no, I wouldn't say Nolan has the best filmography of any director. Like I would put Kubrick, probably Scorsese, a couple other directors above him. But give him time. Give him time. I'm pretty excited for the Odyssey. I want to see what he does with it. Is Ash going to be in the next Evil Dead? I have heard rumors, but I've also heard Bruce Campbell say that he is done doing any live action stuff. Of course, you hand a man enough money. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about it yet. Yeah, it's Evil Dead Burn. Yeah, it comes out next year. I'm actually more excited for movies next year than any of the movies that came out this year. Because next year you do have the Odyssey. You have a new Evil Dead movie. You have Sam Raimi's new movie, Send Help. You have Scream 7. You have Dune Part 3. You have Robert Eggers' werewolf movie. So I'm like way more excited about next year than I am any movies that came out this year. I was only into Devil May Cry for the soundtrack. I mean, fair. I mean, soundtrack's pretty fire. I really want to do a big Devil May Cry video too. I did do my review video, but I kind of want to do like a big like story lore video. Like I imagine uh, next year, if I get a chance to like replay the games, and I also kind of want to check out some of the extended expended media stuff. And I was thinking about making a long video, maybe like an hour, 2 hours long, of just like the story of Devil May Cry from start, like in chronological order, like what happens, like that's like a story summary kind of video. Um, but I also don't know if I want to do it because what I learned last year from doing some Devil May Cry content is a lot of the fan base of Devil May Cry kind of sucks. Like they're kind of assholes. Not all of, I mean, not all of them, obviously, but a loud minority just like are so like viscerally hate fueled, which is crazy. I never realized like a franchise like that's so awesome and fun and like exciting and like it's one of my favorite. It's my favorite video game franchise of all time. And like I never knew it invited such a toxic fan base. I guess learn new stuff every year. You learn a lot of new stuff like that when you make videos on things. You love something, you want to make a video about it, expressing how much you like it. Give the pros, the cons, talk about it in a way that means a lot to you. And then all of a sudden, all of the comments are like, you don't like it right. You don't understand this. Oh, you forgot this one obscure character's name from the game that you've played the least. That means you're not a real fan. All of this kind of bullshit. And I was like, okay, I guess I didn't realize the Devil May Cry fan base was like this. I'm sure it's a very vocal minority, but I was a little bit surprised because I've been a fan of that franchise for 20 years, and I realized that I've never really like interacted with the fan base. Like I've always been a fan of the games and the characters, but like once I started talking about it on the internet, I was like, oh shit. Like a lot of these people suck. Interested in any superhero films coming this year? Kinda yes and no. I mean, I am curious about Avengers Doomsday, but I'm not like hyped about it. Like back in the day, with the first Avengers or Infinity War and Endgame, like I was excited as anybody else. With Doomsday, I just am not really like on board the Marvel train anymore. I don't really know what they're doing. I don't know what they're trying to do. Bringing Robert Downey Jr. back and Chris Evans back. It's just like, it feels like they're kind of like, I don't know. It just feels like they're kind of grasping at straws. And I don't know if I want to sit through another movie that's just like characters in front of a green screen with a big CGI battle again. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to be excited for it. I just, I don't know. I feel burned from the Marvel superhero stuff. On the DC side, I am most excited for Clayface because the premise sounds interesting to me, that they're treating it as like a horror, like a body horror kind of movie. And they're letting it be rated R, and with like visual effects and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of creative, really cool, strange things you could do with Clayface. So I'm very curious about that. I bet they had to beg RDJ to come back. I mean, just bring another dump truck full of money up to his doorstep. You know, I'm sure that's all it took. Still out here waiting for more Berserk. Would have been cool to get a chapter this month. That's also how I found your channel. Yeah, I know. I was surprised. I was expecting at least one more chapter before the end of the year, but no announcement or anything, you know. And they really only announce when a chapter is going to drop about 2 weeks before it does. So we don't really get a lot of notice as it is. But considering it's only 2 weeks until the end of the year, yeah, I think we're done. So I think we got 3 chapters this year? Was it 3 or 4? I'm not even sure. Not a lot, which is unfortunate. I would be more comfortable with that if I knew that they were like building up a batch of chapters and then they would release them monthly for like 5 months in a row. Like if we had to wait like, you know, however long it's been, like 3-4 months or whatever. I forget when the last chapter came out. I think it was September. Maybe it was October. I don't know. And then they were like, the reason we're doing this is so that we can build a bunch of chapters up and then we can release them in like January, February, March, April, like 4 chapters in a row. That would be worth it to me, you know, to wait for chapters and then have a good run and then have a break and then have another good run, you know, but they don't do it like that. It's just so random and sporadic. New Spider-Man movie. Again, I'm like curious but not excited. Like I like the idea that they're including Punisher and the Hulk, and I really do think the Hulk in the MCU has been done so dirty. Like they've just, ever since the first Avengers movie, they just keep making him more and more pathetic. So I want justice for the Hulk. Like I want the Hulk to be cool, and hopefully that'll give that to me. And then Supergirl, again, I'm a little bit on the fence with, but yeah, seeing Lobo in live action, played by Jason Momoa, seems like a match made in heaven. Though he seems like that's the kind of character he was born to play. So you know, I am stoked for that. I also realize I still have my Godzilla list up on the screen. Now it's gone. No, I mean, I think the movies I'm most excited for, like I said, are probably Dune 3, the Robert Eggers werewolf movie, maybe Scream 7. I thought there was another big direct. Oh, well, we have the Resident Evil movie. I don't know how that's going to turn out. The director is, what's his name? Zach Kreger. Yeah, that did Weapons. Great director. He's made 2 great movies. So, like, I'm confident that the movie will be good. I'm just upset that he's not using the Resident Evil characters. You know, because he said, oh, it's going to be all original characters. And I'm just like, that's what we did before. And that's, like, we did that with the Mila Jovovich stuff. We did that with that fucking god-awful Netflix Resident Evil show. It's like, can you just adapt the game, for God's sake? Like, just do a horror movie that takes place in a mansion with fucking Jill and Chris. Like, is it that hard to just make that a movie? Apparently it is. But anyways, he is a good director. Weapons was fire. I liked most of Barbarian. So I just hope that it's good. I just hope that it's good. Oh, and I think, are we getting Godzilla, the Toho like -1 or -0, is that next year also, or is that 2027? I know that Godzilla Supernova is 2027, but I forget if we're getting the -1 sequel next year or not. Yeah, burned out in the superhero genre. Give me a Deathstroke or Red Hood movie, then maybe. Bro, I've been saying the same thing for years. I want a Batman movie where we can actually get all of the Batman, well, not all of them, but like, let's get a Batman movie with Nightwing, Red Hood, Huntress, Batgirl. Like, let's do like the Batman stuff. Like, let's really get into that universe because like I look at it and they're like, there's so many Batman movies, but almost all of them are just solo Batman. It's like, why can't we get the other Batman characters? Why can't we get Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne? Like, where are the other characters? Like, there's more to Batman than just Batman. That's what I've always wanted. I wanted a more like fantastical, fantasy style Batman movie where he could fight villains like Clayface, fight villains that are a little weirder, villains like Mr. Freeze, and then have other Batman characters in it. That's what I've always wanted. So I agree with you, man. Batman versus Deathstroke with like Nightwing in there and shit. Like, that's what I want, But we're not getting that. We're getting more Robert Pattinson. So it is what it is. Yeah, his gut's still in the chamber. Yeah, he's in the stupa, hopefully going through some kind of spiritual awakening that we will have yet to see. Oh, there's a new SpongeBob movie out. Yeah, but I just have no interest in seeing a CGI SpongeBob movie. I feel like if it's not the traditional animation, it doesn't feel like SpongeBob to me. Super chat, thank you so much from the villain. Appreciate it, brother. Hello, Georgie. What a nice boat. Yes. I'm watching it, Welcome to Derry, right now. I will have a review on it when I finish it. I got about 2 episodes left, so I'm working on it. I was late to the game. I didn't see when the first episode came out, so I was like, well, I'll just wait till it finishes, and then I'll watch through the series. So that's what I've been doing. So I've been watching the episodes periodically. I got about 2 episodes left, and then I'll make a video on it. I like it so far. There's some things in it that I don't like. I think some of the CGI is like really, really bad, but I like all of the actors. I think all the kid actors are doing a really good job, and that's a big deal for me because I'm very critical when it comes to child actors. I normally don't like them in most movies, but the cast in the It TV show is actually pretty good. They're really good. I like the younger version of Dick Halloran from The Shining. So yeah, I'm excited to finish it. The new DCU Batman is literally everything you just described, Ryan. Well, that's what they need to make the movie. They need to get it out. You know what I mean? I need to see it. That's what I want. I still haven't seen it. Yes, they float. And down here, you'll float too. I don't know who's better, Tim Curry or what's his name, Skarsgård, or no, yeah, what is his name? Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, I like them both. I like them both, and they're both great for different reasons. If I had to pick one, though, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I got a lot of baked in nostalgia with Tim Curry. It's hard. It's hard not to pick Tim Curry. But Skarsgård has definitely got his own vibe to it that works really well. Why, yes, they float, Georgie. I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Now we ain't strangers no more. Damn, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is like Jackie Earl Haley as Freddy Krueger to you. Holy crap, that is a take. That is a take, my friend. Damn. Yeah, didn't even know Robert Eggers was doing a werewolf movie. Yes, werewolf movies was the only type of movie that would consistently give me nightmares as a child. Yeah, there's a few images out from it now. He's got Willem Dafoe in there again, of course. Lily Rose Depp is in it, but she's looking like crazy in that movie. Like she's got like some weird scar on her face. She's all like haggard and dirty. Like she looks like some kind of peasant character. Willem Dafoe looks awesome. I'm stoked for it. I'm stoked for it. He is kind of like my guy right now. Like I think for younger directors or like directors that have made like less than 5 movies, I think Robert Eggers is like my top guy because I love Nosferatu so much. Like I know a lot of people hate that movie or didn't like it or it didn't work for them. I mean, that's fine. To me, Nosferatu was a masterpiece. Like that is my kind of gothic vampire horror movie. Like the tone of it, the feeling of it, the vibe, the music, the performance, like that is just my type of movie. And so like I think he fucking nailed it. So I love that movie. I love The Northman is super brutal, intense, great movie. The Witch was really good. The only one I don't really like of his is The Lighthouse. And it's not even that I don't like it. It's just I don't really care to rewatch it. Like I had fun with it. I think Willem Dafoe is amazing in it. But it's the only one of the 4 movies he's made that I don't really have an urge to go back and watch again. Like I watched it once and I'm kind of like, I'm good. But his other 3, especially Nosferatu, I absolutely adore. So like I can't wait for his werewolf movie. Do the Tim Curry voice. I don't think I can do the Tim Curry voice. Like, you'll float too. Like that's about as good as I can do. You'll float. I can't do it. I can't. What's another line that he has? Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You better let him out. I can't do it. I can't do it. If you go to Wikipedia page for Nosferatu 1922, there's a thumbnail that lets you watch the whole movie. Really? That's awesome. I mean, it is public domain, so yeah, technically, I could stream the movie on this channel if I wanted to. We could literally just watch Nosferatu together. Apparently, you know, I don't know if YouTube would still try to take it down, but like legally, I could, because it's public domain. I thought about doing that one night where I would just put on like a bunch of public domain movies that we could watch together because we could do like Nosferatu, we could do like Carnival of Souls, like there's some other ones out there, like older black and white movies that are public domain. We could just have like a random stream movie night where we just watch like public domain movies. I think I could do that. I think I could get away with that. I'm pretty sure that's because you can just upload the movie and like it's there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I've always wanted to do that one night. When's the metal stream 2? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I did get copyright flagged for that, obviously. And I also did, funny enough, for the Terminator 2 video game when they played, what was the song in the bar? Bad to the Bone? Yeah, because that was in the game. It was in the movie, so they put it in the game. And then streaming the game, I got copyright flagged. So I had to cut that segment out. Hitting shoulders every day until you look like Spacegodzilla. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. That's going to be a little bit difficult. I don't know how you get those peaks just right. You know, Spacegodzilla's got a very narrow, like, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's a way. There's probably a way. There's probably a way. I'm sure people have already made like kaiju specific training regimes. Like, I'm sure if you looked it up, there's probably like a Godzilla workout, a Mothra workout, a Ghidorah workout, you know. I'm sure it's all out there. Like, it just has to be. I just wonder how you train the atomic breath. Like, how do you train that? You know what I mean? How do you train shooting atomic energy out of your mouth? I don't know. There's got to be a way. How many calories to attain the Godzilla physique do you think? I mean, the amount of calories Godzilla would have to consume a day. I mean, I know he doesn't really, like, lore-wise, he just feeds on nuclear energy, you know? But if he had to eat and consume calories, I mean, I'm sure he's up into, like, the, like, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of calories per day. So probably not doable. I don't know. Make a lot of protein shakes. Which two Vinland Saga characters would you like to see have a conversation or a 1v1? Two characters that never met in the manga? I mean, I'd like to see Thorkel and Thorgil meet each other because although they're both giant, strong men, Thorkel has more of a code of honor, whereas Thorgil is just an asshole. So I would like to see Thorkel put him in his place. That would be fun. As far as characters having a conversation, let's see. It would be interesting to see. What about Garm and Canute? That would be. I don't think. Did they meet each other? They did meet each other, actually. Never mind. They did. It was like early on. To have a conversation. That's tough to think about characters that didn't meet each other. I mean, you could just say Thor's because he dies early on. So you could say like Thor's and maybe like the shaman in Vinland, in the Vinland arc, the native. That would be an interesting conversation. Yeah, you might actually need to eat plutonium for those 6 billion calories. Yeah, true. I don't know if that's possible. I'll tell you what, though. Godzilla is some pretty good gym motivation, though. You throw on that opening scene of Final Wars right before you're about to go work out when you're taking your pre-workout. And, yeah. You automatically start talking to yourself like that one character in Final Wars. It's like, listen, son, there's two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla. Love that guy. He's the best. Yeah, a ton of fish for Godzilla. That's a lot of fish. True. How good was the Monarch series? It was okay. There were things in it that I really liked. I'm a big fan of Kurt Russell, so it was nice seeing him as a main character, and seeing his son play the younger version of him was a pretty fun little novelty. I think that whenever Godzilla shows up, it's great. The storyline could have been better, but it was all right. I enjoyed it for what it was. I am excited for season 2. I would say it's worth watching if you're a Godzilla fan, but don't expect, greatness from it. Yes, all to blame. Exactly, man. Throwing some Sum 41, all to blame. What's so crazy about that scene is like it feels like an AMV that would have been made in the early 2000s, but it's actually a scene in the movie. Like there's literally a scene in Godzilla Final Wars where Godzilla is just going around beating the fuck out of every single monster imaginable. And they do a scene where the 98 American Godzilla shows up and like he's there made of CGI. And then across the screen is the real Godzilla with the suitmation. And then all of a sudden, Sum 41's We're All to Blame starts playing. And then Godzilla kicks the American Godzilla's ass in like 30 seconds flat and then blows him to hell. And it's like the most metal, badass scene in any movie that's ever been created. And it doesn't feel real, but it is. Pretty disappointed we're not getting Gigan in the MonsterVerse. Want my Godzilla Star Chicken. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of leaning towards Gigan. That's kind of what I thought it was going to be. Again, wouldn't have necessarily been my pick for a monster, but I could have seen it happening more so than Space Godzilla. So yeah, kind of weird. I'm just holding out hope. I just want it to be good. What if I tell Pennywise I'm deeply terrified of hot goth girls? I mean, that's what I'm telling him too. That's the first thing that's coming out of my mouth. It's like, oh no, sexy goth women, my greatest fear. I think Pennywise would know, though. I don't think he needs to ask you. I think he just kind of sees inside your mind. But it's still worth the Hail Mary. You might as well just try it. Did you ever make any AMVs? Yeah, I made a few back in the day. None of them were very good. I always feel like the best AMVs, they have to be specifically edited to like the beat of the music for it to make sense. A lot of AMVs back in the day would just like play a scene with music over it. And it would always piss me off because like, there is a quality level to AMVs that are out there. You know what I mean? And like some people just didn't get it. So I tried, I tried to make a few back in the day where I would try to like edit to the pace of the music, but I was never that good at it. Editing is not my strong suit, as you can obviously tell by watching my channel. Your favorite memes are people making edgy 2000s tributes to Spinosaurus with Animal I Have Become. I've seen some of those. They're pretty legit. You could tell Welcome to Derry is entertaining because of all the memes people are making about it. I'm almost all the way through it. I have to watch 2 more episodes. If I remember correctly, Gamera is getting a new movie. I haven't seen any confirmation on it. Maybe I'm missing something. I've seen some people talking about it, but I haven't seen anything like official, unless I'm just missing something. Berserk 2026 prediction. Guts comes out of the clamshell with a Super Saiyan hair, instant transmission behind Griffith. I mean, let's see it, man. Let's make it happen. Why not? We need the rest of his hair to go white, you know? Biolante would have been peak. That's the monster I want the most to come back because that is, other than the original, that's my favorite Godzilla movie. I think that Biolante would make a lot, it would be easy to do because it's a creation that's made with like Godzilla cells and plant cells, and there's like a spiritual component into it as well. But like, I think that could fit in either the MonsterVerse or the Godzilla Toho minus one world. Like, I think there's space for Biolante to exist in either of those universes if they so choose. They just haven't yet, which is unfortunate. And of all monsters to pick, Spacegodzilla, I talked about it earlier in the stream, so I don't necessarily want to go over it again, but my thought is like, there's so many other monsters other than Spacegodzilla I would have rather seen. But having said that, I am hoping for a good movie regardless, because obviously Spacegodzilla is an incredibly powerful character and you could probably do a lot with him. I'm just not like a big Spacegodzilla guy, you know what I mean? And I also feel like we've had so many Godzilla doppelgangers. We've had Mechagodzilla, we've had Shimu, which is like a giant reptile. You know, it's like, I'd like to see a creature that's different, that has like a different biology, that works in a different way. Like Biolante is very creative and different and unique to Godzilla, you know? Same thing with like the Smog Monster or Anguirus or something else. Spacegodzilla, just like an evil Godzilla with, you know, crystals. But I still hope that it's good. I still want them to do something good with it. Where's my fire turtle? Yeah, I know. And where's Gamera? Bring Gamera back already. God, it's been almost 20 years since there's been a Gamera movie. But all right, guys. So I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to talk about on the stream. I'll stream for about 10 more minutes. That way I can go for about a solid 2 hours even. So any kind of like final questions, comments, concerns, any super chats to help support that you guys want to send in, do it within the next 10 or so minutes, and then I'll probably skedaddle. Where's my super suit? Incredibles? Do you want an editor? I'll work for manga. So what, I buy you manga? Why don't I just give you money and then you buy what manga you want? What do you mean? Also, I don't have money to give you, so I can't hire you. But thank you. Basically the same origin as Spacegodzilla, but more interesting. I think it's way more interesting. But the origins of Spacegodzilla can change. You know, like different continuities of the Godzilla monsters. You know, sometimes they have different origins and different backstories. So I wouldn't be surprised if the MonsterVerse makes up their own version of Spacegodzilla, not necessarily having them created the same way. But we'll have to see. Work as an editor for $7.25 an hour. That is how much money I got paid at my first job ever. It was $7.25 because that's what the minimum wage was at the time. Dead Space remake for $8.99 on Steam winter sale. So damn tempting. That is pretty tempting. There's a lot of things that are tempting, but I cannot spend money right now. I'm not in a good place to do that, but there's a lot of things that I want, and I still have some other games to get through. So I'm trying to ignore the sales to the best of my ability. Is it worth watching a piece of media even after being spoiled? Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. I mean, it sucks to be spoiled for something, especially if it's something you were excited for. But if it is something that you're going to enjoy, you know, I think you can still enjoy it. It's just, you know, part of it's going to be taken away from you, which sucks. But if it's something that you like, I mean, you're still gonna like it, but you're gonna be bummed out. You're not gonna have as authentic of a reaction when you watch it, and that sucks. But I think you can still technically enjoy it. I'll work for $10 a month. See, now that's more in my budget. Like that's probably doable. Not to get on a tangent, but I fear what Netflix will do to DC Comics if they don't care about physical media. I fear what they'll do to the comic industry. Yeah, I don't know how that connects. I'd have to research it more, but I'm more concerned, yeah, about physical media and what's going to happen there, or the theatrical window getting smaller and smaller, and just Netflix having control over a lot of properties and IPs that just sounds icky to me. But the physical media thing really gets me, because even Netflix themselves, for their own original stuff, barely puts out physical media. And why would they want to? Because they're a streaming service. I mean, even though the movies belong to them, like, physical media is a competitor to streaming, and it's losing. And if they acquire all of those films, there's a good chance that they're going to be like, hey, guess what? The only way to watch them is to have Netflix. Too bad. They wouldn't want to give you any other outlet to watch them, which will suck. And I hope that's not the case. And I'm bummed out, and the world's going to hell. And that's about it. Started watching Star Trek, finished one series, started another. Now Netflix will remove it in January. Yeah, that's the other thing too that sucks about streaming services, is that you don't own any of the content that's on there. You just own access to the service. And if they want to take something off, too bad. And then that's what makes you have to buy all these other streaming services, because it's like, oh, I can't watch season 1 over here, but I can watch it over here. Or this one has season 1, this doesn't have season 2. This has that movie. Oh, they got rid of it. Now the other one has that movie. It's just go back to physical media, guys. Like, come on. Don't play into the streaming games. They're fucking with our hearts and souls, and I won't take it anymore. They took Seven off of Netflix. See, that sucks, man. I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where else Seven is streaming. I have an old DVD copy of Seven, but it's a pretty neat edition. I think it's like a double disc. It's like in a little slip cover thing. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Netflix shows that they will happily cancel TV shows just to squeeze one more season out of a show no one likes. That's true. They are notorious for canceling shows early. Only on the rare occasion of like something like Stranger Things or a few other shows are they allowed to go on for years and years and years. Most Netflix shows get canceled after like 1 or 2 seasons. Yeah, hard to remain hopeful about everything. Wish I was in my 20s in the early 2000s rather than now. Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of things are getting worse. I mean, some things have gotten better, but a lot of things are getting worse. I miss the 2000s all the time. I was more of a teenager in the 2000s, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know how much of it is just nostalgia glasses, and I don't know how much of it was, no, things were really a lot better back then, but it feels like things were really a lot better back then. Godzilla dance, please. You got to send in at least $1, man. At least $1 if I'm doing the Godzilla dance. Yeah, when we were younger, we thought life would get better and it didn't. Well, we were promised a lot. Like my generation and kind of the generation under me were promised like, hey, if you do this and you do this and you think this way and you go here and, you know, you try to do this, all these things are going to work out and, you know, you're going to make a lot of money and blah, 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 blah. And none of it really worked out for anybody, any of us. And we're all just kind of struggling indefinitely. We were promised a lot of lies. That's what I'll say. We were promised a lot of lies. Yeah, burn on all of your movies onto a 30-inch wide laser disc. Yeah. Well, at least, I mean, if you have the means, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have the means to do so, I would pick up most of your favorite movies on physical media now, especially if they're owned by Warner Brothers. Because if the Netflix deal does go through and they get their way, there is a possibility that they'll stop printing physical media in the future. I mean, you might still have, like, nicer sets that come out from like Criterion and Arrow and like big companies like that, but just like general regular physical media releases, I would pick them up now if you can. Like if you have the means to do so, I would definitely recommend it before the Netflix deal goes through. Super chat from Dylan Smith. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. Now that season 2 of Fallout is out, do you have any interest in covering it? I enjoyed season 1 for the most part and looking forward to season 2. Also do the Godzilla dance for whoever asked. All right. I have not. I've never played Fallout and I have not watched the show, so I know very little about it. I know like the general premise. I know some of the actors that are in the show, but I've never checked it out. So maybe, I don't know if it's like particularly in my wheelhouse or not. It's one of those shows I'm kind of curious about, but I just haven't, it's like not on my like next to-do list or anything. So I haven't taken any like specific interest to check it out. But I am kind of curious, but I'm also coming at it from the point of view of somebody who has not played Fallout. So yeah, so I don't know. That's a possibility. All right. So I guess I'll end with the Godzilla dance here and then we'll call it a day. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Where are we at here? I'll try to match my boy. Oh, God. All right, here we go. God damn it. Okay. Oh. You know, I've been sitting on my leg this whole time, too. Oh, I got to stretch. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh. All right. Oh, Jesus. All right. All right, here we go. All right, there you go. All right, we're done. We're done. I'm ending this. Godzilla dance for you guys. All right. Peace out, guys. Thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. I probably will not stream again until after Christmas. So I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, you know, whatever you're doing. You know, have a good one, guys. Enjoy it. Special thanks to Dylan Smith, Villain, Sadu, Velox, thank you. John Stone, 1994, thank you. Landon, of course, thank you. Thank you guys for the super chats tonight, man. I appreciate it. I'll keep you posted on progress with the script if anything happens with that. Got another Christmas movie horror review next week. And then I'm going to be doing my top 10 movies of the year. And then I'll do my update video for 2026 and let you know all of the projects I'm hoping to make next year. And that'll probably bring us to New Year's. Yeah. So